Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, at the request of Patreon subscriber Justin, I am playing around with Jeskai Ascendancy in Legacy. This is one of Justin's pet cards that he's been working on in various shells for many years and just likes seeing it pop off and wanted me to take my hand at it in Legacy. There is a bounty in place, and it's like a 5-point bounty where I get a point for each Jeskai Ascendancy that I include in the deck, and then a point for each win, and if I get 5 points, I get it all. And I'm playing 3 copies, not because the 4th is bad. I just feel like 3 is the right number for this list. So I got to win 2 matches to unlock my bounty here. A little extra on top of the league, a little extra fun to be had. But I think this deck is actually pretty respectable, and getting 2 wins I don't think is outrageous. In fact, I'd be surprised if we did worse than that. Jeskai Ascendancy: whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, untap them, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw if you do discard. 2 things are happening here when this card is involved. One is your squad is getting slowly bigger and untapping, which means A, we need creatures in the deck, and B, we'd like them to have tap abilities that do something. The key here to unlock all of this is Emry, Lurker of the Loch. Tap, choose target artifact in your graveyard, you may cast that card this turn. People who have been playing Magic for a while, or people who can quickly understand interactions, will recognize that with a deck full of 0 mana artifacts that sacrifice themselves, you've got Lotus Petal, Urza's Bauble, Mishra's Bauble. Even if you get 2 Opals so they start legend ruling each other, that means tap Emry, play Lotus Petal, trigger Jeskai Ascendancy, Emry gets bigger and untaps, then you sack the Lotus Petal for mana, cast that Lotus Petal again with Emry, off you go. That is mana equal to the number of cards in your deck. I guess it can be infinite because you don't have to loot either. So it's infinite mana and access to all the cards in your deck with something as simple as a Lotus Petal. If it's something like Bauble instead, you just loot till you find the Lotus Petal or the Mox Opal, and then you do the same thing. There is a 1 of Fate Stitcher in the deck. There's a 4-drop that has tap, you may tap or untap another target permanent, and it unearths for a blue. This means if Emry mills it over, or if you loot it away with Jeskai Ascendancy, you can unearth it. Unearthed creatures enter with haste. And now while you're doing your Emry stuff, Fate Stitcher can untap one of your lands each time you cast a thing to give you more mana. That could also result in something like infinite Urza Saga tokens. Fate Stitcher can also tap blockers down, which means your Emry that is infinitely large can actually connect. And Fate Stitcher itself will be an infinitely large creature with haste. You have to worry about blockers if you don't have something like Fate Stitcher in. I've also seen people playing Quarry Steel Cutter to give your Emry trample, which is a perfectly fine way to do this, but I've chosen Fate Stitcher instead. And all of that is tucked within this Pinnacle Emissary Affinity shell that is proven to be pretty good. It won Eternal Weekend, if we recall. It's obviously pretty different. There's no Ancient Tombs, there's no Chalice of the Voids. This is not a Stompy deck or a Prison deck at all. It is a value deck that works its way towards a combo. But Pinnacle Emissary, this is infinite 1/1s if you're doing the Ascendancy thing, and those 1/1s will get bigger as you do the Ascendancy thing as well. There's 1 Lava Spur Boots in the deck that you'll find eventually if you're looping. You could give one of the first drone haste. So at the end of your chain, you have Emry, Fate Stitcher, and 1 flying drone that are all infinitely large and can attack. And the Emissary just gives the deck another angle. If your opponent has like a Null Rod or some Graveyard Hate or something, you could go Pinnacle Emissary plus Urza Saga and do some beatdowns. I think this deck is pretty reasonable all around, and I'm excited to play it. Let's do it. This is Jeskai Ascendancy. I'm on the draw in round 1 with a hand that's pretty weak. It doesn't have blue mana. It doesn't have Emry. It does have Urza Saga, and it will draw 4 cards before my first turn, and it has Force Backup. I'll try this. Obviously, it's not exactly what we signed up for, but in a deck that plays 6 baubles, sometimes your hand, you're not quite sure what it's going to do when you deploy it. A basic mountain. Oh, man. Pinnacle Emissary. That would actually be insane if I had any land other than Urza Saga in my hand. I am not going to sandbag for Pinnacle Emissary. I am going to rotate this hand. All right, we're definitely playing against Painter. Okay, there's Emery on top of my deck. Agatha Soul Cauldron on top of theirs. The match made in hell for me. Emery, Bauble. Opponent's got a Saga as well. I am going to Force Will the Soul Cauldron. That's just not a card that I can reasonably defeat. I think I want to pitch Tamiyo. That's just the slowest, scrappiest thing. Blue Source would be great. Mox Amber. Not a blue source. Not yet. Could be next turn, though. Bauble. Bauble U. A Lightning Bolt in hand. Good to know. Fate Stitcher. The colorless mana base with Jeskai Ascendancy in my hand is actually really funny. Arena of Glory. That could be bad news for me. Opponent is in the Saga, and I'm not. I'm just tutoring here. Okay, that's actually a huge deal. That opponent is making a construct before I can tutor Pithing Needle. My Pithing Needle's in the sideboard. I have to decide now. Now that I've drawn the land, I'm not locked into getting Mox Opal and hoping this works. I could get Soul Guide Lantern and try to mess things up a little bit for them. Lava Spur Boots, play Emery, equip Boots. That actually sounds really good. Though I do know that they have the Lightning Bolt in hand. But that's a redraw immediately. Okay, Lava Spur Boots. Fetch. I'll get myself a Volcanic Island here. What's the best sequence? I can make Emery cost less by playing Amber first. And I would need the Amber to play the Pinnacle Emissary, so that's okay. Yeah, this all checks out. Okay, Emery can equip the boots to Emery. Oh no, the Simian Spirit Guide. Okay. I'll float a blue. Does that even do anything? Yes. No. No, I'm a mana short of making a construct token, and warping this Pinnacle Emissary doesn't matter. Okay. Got me with the Simian Spirit Guide. Fair enough. Alright, pass the turn. We did something. Flushed out the Lightning Bolt. And not making constructs, they've got better things to do with their mana. Yeah, this game is close despite me keeping a sketchy hand that did not materialize. Kind of into it. Boom, zoom, boomby dooms. All those guys are really big. There's not a lot to throw right now, unless my opponent suddenly has a Fury out of their hand. I'm not super worried about that. Say his name and he'll appear. He's John Fury. Okay, I'm suddenly at 7. I drew a land, which means if I tutor Mox Opal, what does that do? Mox Opal lets me cast Jeskai Ascendancy. This is 4, 5, 6 damage on board. I'm at 1 on board. Though if I can block with Fate Stitcher, how much mana do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I can actually tap down the Boomby Zooms. All right. Opal. Seat. Oh no, none of these are legendary. Only in our hearts. Okay. I guess what I'm going to do here is cast Fate Stitcher and make my opponent respond to that. Like, they could shoot it, but it has Unearth. Or they could let me block, and then I'm not quite dead. Or they could have, like, any spell. Rhea's Apprentice with haste. Yeah, that's a lot of damage. Okay. I mean, they started this turn with 1 card in hand. I guess if they had Rhea's Apprentice, they had the Lotus Petal. No, they were fine. All right. Okay, Hydroblast comes in. I could see Wear Tear being okay. Prismatic Ending. If my opponent has been playing Constructed Magic for a little while, they probably immediately recognize Fate Stitcher as a Jeskai Ascendancy card. Like, this card does not go into any other deck. I guess there's some variants of Dredge that have played it historically, but I'm clearly not playing Dredge. And the Emery, I think it's a safe bet they can understand that I'm on Jeskai Ascendancy, or I at least have to operate as if they know. I think Repeal can come out. Soul Guide Lantern can come out. They appear to be a hybrid Stompy and Artifact combo deck. The Agatha Soul Cauldron might just be like in the Unlicensed Her spot in Red Stompy, but Rhea's Apprentice really, it tells the story. Yeah, I guess I do want Wear Tear. Is that better than Dismember, or is it the same? In Wear Tear versus Urza Saga is just cheating. I could cut some Rebukes because I have different interaction now. I still But if they are, like, Painter has so many red blasts that Force of Will is terrible. But Red Stompy, Force of Will is one of your best cards. I guess that's the squeeze they're trying to create, and they have successfully done that. All right, I'm going 0 Force of Wills. Talk me out of it. You can't. I have some 1-for-1 counters, and I'm bringing in other forms of interaction. I'll try it like this. Okay, this is 2 lands with a Tamiyo and a removal spell. I'll try it. And I'll just get Tamiyo, cook in immediately, bobble you. Lava Spur Boots go into your hand. Found my 3rd land and my other colors. That's all important stuff. Pyroblast. Sorry, Tamiyo. You hardly saw this life. Boots. Tarn. Bobble. I could bobble myself for more information, but I'm kind of interested in what they're doing as well. We've got a Fury coming. All right, this is why I left the fetch land up. Fetch Tundra and tear this Urza's Saga before it even knows how to make mana. Get out of here. If I was sure they were casting an artifact this turn, holding it would be better, but I'm not sure of that. Okay, there's the Boots, which we knew they had, but if I hadn't blown up their land, would that have been their play? In Emissary, when I know they're holding Fury. If I played Glimmervoid, I could get completely roasted by something like Meltdown, but Glimmervoid can also pay a black for Dismember, so I'm going to run out the Glimmervoid, and I'm just going to hold the Emissary. I can hard cast it and equip Lava Spur Boots to it next turn. The Lava Spur Boots are sweet too, though, because even a Warped one has action on it. Alright, well, there's that thing. 0 mana artifact would be a great draw. I should have been more specific. Not that one. Okay, I think what I want to do here is get 4 cheeky points in. Just equip this, attack for 4, leave it in the warp zone. This protects it from Fury. Yeah, the second Urza Saga is tough. They had 2 and I had 0 in the Urza Saga mirror. Never really where you want to be in life. Okay. Interesting situation here where I could just not take damage from broadsides, or I could let them pitch their Fury and kill broadsides in response, and then they burn that for no reason. It's kind of risky. I'm kind of hoping they go for the gusto here. Yeah, and they did. Nice. Okay, gotcha on the hook for something here. They could still throw Lava Spur Boots at me if they want, but this is a 2 for 0, where the cost of doing business was losing 2 life. I'm pretty happy with that exchange. They pitched Untimely Malfunctions. Yeah, that was a great interaction for me. Can we cash out on it? A little bit. Let's go. Okay, Pineapple Emissary. Make sure I get my drone. Get some haste on that. Check your draw. Drawing Pyroblast, convenient. But I'm coming in strong, and I'm keeping the Sink into Stupor. Answering a permanent is going to be part of this game, and I have plenty of mana. Okay, they're going for the Tutor. Mishra's Research Desk, looking for something to do here. Pyroblast. You got a ward to pay. I still have 2 damage on board. Alright, flooding like crazy here. But I have 1 more interactive spell. I am pushing damage. Okay, they're going into the desk. They can play 1 of these until the end of this turn. Goblin Engineer. Do I bounce this now or later? Probably now. Just take the Time Walk. Because the Entomb is still a value even if they don't get to use their creature right away. Well. Invest in success, right? I guess I'm going to play out Ascendancy and hope to draw a spell that does anything next turn. And I'm holding the land back because looting is part of what Jeskai Ascendancy does. Okay, here's the Engineer. Let's hope that Time Walk bought me some action. Even like in Urza's Bauble off the top could get something going because the buff matters here, the loot matters here. If I find Emery, I win on the spot because I have Lava Spur Boots in play. I just move the Boots over, and the Emery can happen anywhere on the chain. Legion Extruder, okay. They're getting ready to stabilize. Come on, deck. A spell. Oh my god! What's it like to be blessed? Do they have the trick again? They don't. Alright, Urza's Bauble from the graveyard, and we're off. This is lethal unless they do something very strange. There's that. Mishra's Bauble. I'll discard Urza's Bauble because that's access. We got a this rules in the chat. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I am going to keep looting because my what's-its-face is in there somewhere. The Fate Stitcher's in my deck somewhere. Discard Metallic Rebuke. Discard Mox Opal. That's another freebie on the chain. Boot. Discard Lotus Petal. Another freebie on the chain. Discard Saga. We don't need that where we're going. Okay, I have 2 lethal attackers. Am I happy? Probably not. Bauble you. Goblin Engineer. Bauble you. Probably the same Goblin Engineer. Next turn, opponent's drawing a Lightning Bolt. It's too late for that. I can Urza's Bauble, basically, until I've seen 3 different cards. Phyrexian Devourer, okay. We've seen 2 of the cards in their hand for sure. If it is just 2 Goblin Engineers, then I'll never know with confidence if I've seen it all. I bubble you again. Goblin Engineer. Who knows? Okay. I have Sink into Stupor to back this up in 2 lethal attackers. I think I'm happy where I am. Attack. Okay. Game 3. Do I want Prismatic Ending in? I probably do. That probably should have been in the first place. It's more reliable interaction with stuff that they have, the permanents that they're going to put into play. Confirmed, we saw a bunch of Pyroblasts. I still don't know if they have painter levels of Pyroblast or just red deck levels of Pyroblast, but we saw a couple of them that game. I think Tameo is kind of unreliable. Repeal, being a generic piece of interaction, is nice. It clears Urza's Saga constructs for 1, and bouncing your own Opal or Amber is a way to shred through your deck in resource-tight situations. It is blue, which is the problem with some of the stuff I'm trying to sidestep. Maybe bringing the Pithing Needles unnecessary. Naming Broadside Bombardiers is good, and if they have Saga and I don't, it's good, but I also just think that what this game is about is not really that. Oh, but Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Never mind. No, Pithing Needle's one of my best cards. I take it all back. Ignore me. I don't know what I'm saying. I could cut a Metallic Rebuke and just play to the board, have 1 counterspell left in my deck. Consign to Memory still has some targets, but I don't think that's how we're going to fight this fight. Let's do it. Okay, this is a turn 2 Emery, and I'm Saga gaming. I'm in. Okay, the Mountain Go. Oh, the Repeal. Kind of like that. I'm not actually accelerating, though. I'm just going to play out my Scalding Tarn and pass. Yeah, the Amber accelerates once the Emery's in play, but that's not in time to help Urza's Saga activate a turn earlier. Ancient Tomb, uh-oh. Shit. I do not have basic lands in my deck. I guess I might as well fetch out one of these many mountains that I play. Alright. That's going to be tough. I do have Lotus Petal, though, which turns on Mox Amber. I might get 1 turn to do stuff. And Lightning Bolt and Pyroblast are just so bad for me. I do have 2 Dismembers in the deck. Those are reliable. Okay, if I play Saga, it taps for red, but not colorless. And then if Magus ever dies, this will tick up to Chapter 2 on my next draw step. Okay, so if I play Amber and Petal, Emery costs 1, and I'm actually backing her up with Metallic Rebuke if she resolves. Okay, so I have Rebuke up. And that's one of those dirty tricks where if you sacrifice Lotus Petal to cast Emery, she costs 1 more. But if you announce Emery, it works differently. Okay, Rebuke this Chainsaw. And opponent is showing me Pyroblast, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Pitch to Fury. Okay. They are in on this Magus of the Moon. They are correct to be in on the Magus of the Moon. Emery plus Lotus Petal is Birds of Paradise, which is pretty good against Blood Moon, historically. Okay, I have no spells I could cast here. I can work my way up to Mox Opal. A Lotus Petal lets me repeal the Magus. Uh-oh, Goblin Engineer. They still have pressure. That's not good. Phyrexian Dragon Engine into the graveyard. Opponent needs another mana or an artifact in play before that does anything. Pinnacle Emissary. I can warp that, but it doesn't matter. If I draw a 0, it could matter. Though that does make Mox Opal immediately an insane draw. All right, opponent pitched a Spirit Guide to escape Phyrexian Dragon Engine. This is going to be a big crush of damage. Oh, they got to loot away their Phyrexian Devourer, just the nuts. And they hit the land, so now Engineer can turn Devourer into Chainsaw in the end step. It deals damage to up to one creature. Okay, so that can't actually deal extra to me. Just a start. If this would leave the battlefield exiled instead. Okay, so this isn't like Sneak Attack where if you sacrifice it before other things, you get to keep it. It's just gone. All right, another Glimmer Void. It did occur to me that the deck might want a basic island, especially because I have some fetch lands in here. I'm not just a pure stompy mana base, but trying to support 3 colors, and I figured with the artifact mana, I would have the ability to play the game anyway. Oh, this card's tough. Oh god, Bombardiers too. Settle down. All right, well, that's 5. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead if they want to go for it. Going for it involves throwing Magus of the Moon, which would temporarily give me my mana, which doesn't actually do anything, but they do have to think about it. Okay. In response, I'm going to try to put the Fear of God in them. I'm going to bounce Goblin Engineer and try to draw a card. Can I gain 1 life at instant speed? No, I cannot. I know that. Do they know that? The Pyroblast to rub it in. All right, yeah. This matchup seems pretty tough, just in general. And, of course, the getting mooned, not ideal. Against the specific hand I had. Like, if I just have a Mox Opal going, it doesn't really matter. If I have an Emissary start, it matters less, but those are not the things that happen. Sweet, on to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2. A little too much mana and not enough juice here. Gonna mulligan that. Okay, this is a turn 1 Emery. I'm gonna keep and bottom one of the Ascendancies. I think the Emery is more important than the Ascendancy if I have to fight through some piece of interaction. Glimmer Void, Emery, mill it over. If I Mishra's Bauble, that makes it harder to Mox Opal next turn, and it means Glimmer Void dies to Prismatic Ending if they just clip the Opal. I think I'm just going to hold this thing, at least till the end step when I have more informed decisions to make. A Fatal Push. Okay, glad I kept 2 Emerys. Oh god, well that's every Jeskai Ascendancy that I play now represented. I'm glad they didn't have Daze. Alright. Dimir doesn't typically kill artifacts, so I'm gonna take the redraw and hope that this Mox Opal holds. I saw Murktide Region on top of their deck. This also gets the Bauble out of the way the turn before Bowmaster can come online, and getting your Emery Bowmastered is pretty embarrassing stuff. Okay, with Tundra. That's a nice one. All right, land, Bauble, get Lotus Petal out of the graveyard, I think. I think that's the one. That plays around Daze. And I'm just going to put my opponent in check here. Red, white, blue, Ascendancy. I guess if I... No, because it wasn't available in any direction because I had to turn the Opal on. All right, force pitching Murktide. I guess I'm glad I keep drawing redundant Ascendancies then, if that's how we're going to do it. All right, Bowmaster played around that one last turn. That does actually make it pretty hard to loot with Ascendancy, but I don't need to loot with Ascendancy. I have infinite mana and infinite 1/1s available in my graveyard without doing anything else. Ponder. Oh wait, I guess the loot doesn't matter, because as long as I stack the +1/+1 above the trigger. Oh, you scumbag. Alright. I'm going to have to, I guess, just cast Pinnacle Emissary out of the graveyard and be a creature deck here. Seed of the Synod. I target Pinnacle Emissary in the graveyard, play that out, and yeah, I guess I'll just show them the Seat of the Synod, whatever. What am I hiding here? That's like 2 life I might be able to get off them off of Thoughtseize, but if I get to a spot where I need to do a bunch of stuff in a turn, I'd rather have the mana. Tameo's here. And my last Ascendancy is on the bottom of my deck, and I know it because I put it there and I haven't shuffled. Okay, a Bauble. Right, I'll target Bauble in my graveyard. I'll get a drone. I'll play the Bauble from my hand, get another drone. And I'm going to attack with Pinnacle Emissary. It's the biggest creature on the board. Let's do something with it. All right, damage is in. Let's go. Backup plan. But that's why I built the shell the way I did. That attack does turn on Kaito, which is not something I want to play against. Dump to Polluted Delta with a Surveil land. I can use 1 Bauble without losing my Emery, unless they have a second Bowmaster. Tameo's attacking. I am going to block, so Kaito's not a thing. Tameo's really annoying versus a wall of 1/1 drones. News at 11, Tameo, pretty good. Okay, if the drones don't matter anyway, I think I am going to bobble my opponent once this turn. They shuffled the Ponder. That's good news. All right, I am going to see what you're drawing off of this clue. A Daze. All right, sure. Tameo flips, Daze in your hand. I get 1 extra draw here. My drone army is now an army of losers. Punks and losers. Lobster Boots. All right, drone less of a loser all of a sudden. Another Emery. I can use that to mill 4. Is that valuable? What am I looking for? Aether Spellbomb's okay. Soul Guide Lantern. More Emissaries. Okay, more Pinnacle Emissaries I could get into. Okay, I'm going to target the Lotus Petal in my graveyard. Then I'm going to play the new Emery. And I'm going to keep the new one because I can give it haste. Then we get a mill. And I did see Soul Guide Lantern there. That's good. Okay. Lava Spur Boots. Equip the boots to Emery. Emery cast or target Soul Guide Lantern. I'll play the Petal first because I know they have Daze. That's off the first Emery. And then play Soul Guide Lantern. Take out the Ponder. I'm actually just going to bomb it all right now. And then I'll move Lava Spur Boots onto, I think, Pinnacle Emissary. I could put 1 damage on Tameo for sure, or I could give them a real decision to block. And a block would cost them their Bowmaster. They attack Tameo. Yeah, they're just letting Tameo go to 1. And pass the turn. That was not a bad turn. Tameo push up again. I am not going to do the Bauble thing this turn because Orc Army becoming 3/3 actually changes the math in the game. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm going to play Mox Amber from the graveyard. That's a stable source of mana that gets this Force of Will past the Daze that we all know is over there. And I'm going to attack Tameo in a way that is actually deadly to her. And if they ever trade off with the Emissary, I can just cast it with Emery on the following turn. Another Bowmaster. Oh no. Force of Will. Okay. They didn't have a force back, so we're probably going to see the Orc Army block here. Nice. Okay, sweet. Starting to just wiggle through it here. Tameo up to 5. Nethergoyf. A mighty 1/2. Wasteland. I don't care about that. Though it does make top decking in Urza Saga a lot worse. I'm not going to bobble. Scalding Tarn. Okay, that can get the Jeskai Ascendancy off the bottom of my deck. Finally. A Emery, target, Soul Guide Lantern, play Lantern, make Bowmaster, or make Nethergoyf even more of a wuss. Move Boots onto a drone. Attack Tameo, attack Tameo. Something's happening. What do we got? Brazen Borrower? A Petty Theft, my Emissary. Okay. I will simply recast that. Tameo takes 1 damage. Let's go. Play out my land, and then Emissary. Black, red, blue, play it comfortably around days in a variety of directions. And pass. Maybe I'm supposed to move Boots onto Emery just to make Ward a little bit of a thing if they find a removal spell. But if Emery goes, I'm just in some trouble no matter what. Wow, they packed it. I don't feel like I'm that far ahead, but okay. Sweet. That game was nice. Okay. Prismatic Ending comes in. Pyroblast comes in. Pithing Needle can name Tamiyo and Kaito and Wasteland in their deck of meaningful cards. Dismember can clear Bowmaster, but as we showed that game, I can navigate a Bowmaster. Soul Guide Lantern, either Spellbomb, Lava for Boots, all feel like the correct objects to have access to. Could just shave some Force of Wills. This isn't a deck that's killing me out of nowhere. And while I would like to win some counter wars or remove Bowmaster, I feel like I have tools to do that. I think it's generally okay to shave an Opal, just in life, in Magic, when you're a 4 Opal deck. After board, when your opponent's more likely to have Artifact Hate, and the game's likely to go longer. Right, yeah, these are the light changes I'm making. But I do mostly feel like my main deck is good against what my opponent's trying to do. Okay, this is a Pinnacle Emissary open. Tamiyo. The card's good. I've heard of it. Ooh, Emery. Something's going to get dazed here. I would prefer to have Emery online. Okay, if something's getting dazed, I prefer it to be Emissary. Let's see if they got it. Okay. They didn't got it. And I'm still going to bobble, even though that does help my Emery next turn. Wasteland, you hate to see it. Okay. Well, they have the Tamiyo Wasteland open. Though if they Wasteland this Seed of the Synod, this Urza Saga comes down hard. B-Storm. Not interested in the clue. Just let's just get Tamiyo into Planeswalker mode quickly and painfully. I don't disagree with that decision. Though, I mean, I do kind of, because getting the clue is free. Polluted Delta. Am I going to get Thoughtseized here? Yep. Okay. Well, I'm definitely losing Emery. It's the only action in my hand. I guess if they have Fatal Push, then maybe they don't care about Emery and they take Metallic Rebuke, or they take Sink into Super to make sure Tamiyo can go the distance. But level 0 is Emery, and then, okay, so they must have Emery covered, and they're thinking about how to get Tamiyo to the roof. That was a really fucking good draw, if I do say so myself. Hey, they didn't have Daze last turn, but they've brainstormed since then. I could just repeal the Tamiyo now. I could let them try to get where they're going. I'm just going to play Emery around Daze and leave a mana up. All right, no reason to attack. I know they've seen my hand. They know Urza Saga's here, but I'm still trying to make... Oh no, a second Thoughtseize? That's so annoying. No! That's what I needed. Bummer. Oh, do they have Thoughtseize and removal spell? And that's just what Dimir does, so it's fine. Nethergoyf. All right, I don't care about that. All right, well, knowing that Wasteland there is kind of taking the wind out of my sails a little bit. I'll play Saga. Emery. I mean, Soul Guide Lantern is not what this game's about. It's about finding an answer to Tamiyo before I'm dead. I'm going to go for Bobble. Bobble you. There's a Brainstorm on top. I'm holding a counterspell, but it's unlikely to matter. In some universe where they've shuffled away the Wasteland after seeing there's a Saga in my hand, like maybe there's something, but I don't think that's the universe we live in. Yeah, there's Wasteland. It's not the one I saw, though. Oh no, there's 2 Wastelands over there. Scary. Okay, so I need to... I did not bring in Pithing Needle. It's not even there. I was playing to an out that doesn't exist. Yeah. Having the second Thoughtseize instead of the removal spell, I just played around the wrong thing. I don't think this game's winnable. Do I grind it out? Maybe. All right, I'll get Soul Guide Lantern from my graveyard. I'll exile their Brainstorm. And I guess I'm playing it out. Let's see what's going on over there. Yep, they've gone for it. To the surprise of no one. I'll probably concede soon, but I don't know. There are, I suppose, sequences that aren't very good against this. I guess all they need to do is Fatal Push Emery, though. and we're done. Maybe there are not sequences that are okay against this. All right, never mind. I lied. I don't want to do that. Okay. So Dismember, or I guess Caracas should be in because they're in Emery or a Tameo deck. Is it that simple? I don't even think it is that simple though. And Caracas can protect my Tameos and Emerys as well. I've got 2 Pyroblast, Aether Spell Bomb, the Repeal, 2 Sink into Stupor, plus my own combo and Combat Pressure to fight Emery. The thing is, I just don't want Dismember in my deck. So it might be better than Force of Will, though then I'm not going to win a counter war. But the counter war I need to win is over Jeskai Ascendancy. I still don't like Pithing Needle. Oh, this is 61. Maybe I'll bring in 1 Dismember. Oh, the Caracas is in. That's what's going on. If I'm bringing Caracas in, I should shave a land. Tundra means white's not fetchable. Like cutting Tundra actually cuts 4 white sources from my deck, not 1. And it replaces it with 1. Like I'm net -3 white. That's not where I want to be. Sink into Stupor does other stuff. I guess Glimmer Void is white source for white source because it's not fetchable anyway. And I know Glimmer Void taps for other mana too. What have I done? Now it's not enough. Oh, okay. Because the other Dismember was supposed to be in. All right, here we go. Okay, Saga Gaming, I'll keep it. This hand is pretty resilient to Thoughtseize. It's resilient to the first Wasteland. The second one's tough. Bobble. I am going to bobble them in their upkeep. This could be a bobble myself and use the fetch land as a scry situation, but I'll do it like this. Island, Ponder. Okay. A smart and handsome open, but not the one I was scared of. And I don't know if I need red or white yet, and there's not a plateau in the deck, so I will let that work its course. Saga, Bobble, Opal. I'm dumping out everything that could be Thoughtseized. They need Wasteland right now or they're in some trouble. If I'm allowed to Saga game and start making 3/3s, 4/4s, 5/5s, etc., it's not great for them. Okay. Seat of the Synod. I will be attacking with a 6/6 and a 7/6 next turn if they don't quickly do something about this. Undercity Sewers tapped. Petty Theft can break this up. Null Rod is a little annoying. Wow, they dumped a Wasteland. Figured it's too late for that one, but I have the second Saga in hand. Okay, so Petty Theft or Fatal Push could slow me down a little bit here. Rebuke, sweet. If they have a Dress Down, that would be a weird card for Dimir to have, though. I'm getting Lava Spur Boots all day. Urza Saga number 2, jump in. Equip. I can Metallic Rebuke something here. I'd rather attack for a Trillion, though. Wow, this is all just happening. It feels like we just caught them in ready to fight the other half of my deck mode, and we got them with Saga mode, which is, of course, a play pattern of Urza Saga decks forever. If they have some sweeper here, what even is the blue-black sweeper that could exist? There's no Wrath of the Skies, Meltdown, anything like that. Dress Down was the card I was worried about. Legacy decks don't play Hercule's Recall. We got the GGs. Okay, a win on the board. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play in round 2 with round 3 with a kind of tragic hand. I think with 1 land this goes completely ape, but I'm gonna mulligan. All right, here we go. This is the ape I was looking for. I'm gonna keep, and I think I bottom Volcanic Island because that's the same as bottoming fetch land, except potential other better synergies. Okay, this is a turn 1 Emery with haste. Assuming everything works, which I hope it will. All right, we're in there. If this mills over is 0, wow. Wait, oh no, I need another mana to equip. It's not Lightning Greaves. All right. We're not quite all the way there. Still a good turn one, though. Hard to complain. A Flooded Strand. Shout out to Patreon member Carl Zrelko, who is Zrelo? All right, sorry, I don't have my glasses on. Carl Zrelo, who is currently my opponent. Urza's Saga, get in. Mishra's Bauble, get in. I think I would like to bauble them just because I do play Metallic Rebuke. There are cards I could draw here that matter. Sink into Stupor. Stoneforge Mystic, what's up? Okay. Are they going to go for some aggro? Are they going to get Meteor Sword to try to blow up my Urza Saga? That would be annoying. Yeah, Meteor Sword confirmed. Okay. Cool new tech from Avatar. This is now part of the Stoneforge package. Hey, big draws. Seat of the Synod. We got a belated hello, YouTube. But we already said hello. Okay. I can try to bounce the Stoneforge Mystic before Meteor Sword blows up my Saga. Or I could let Meteor Sword blow up my Saga and make a huge creature. Because unless they have Felia, the sword in Vindicate is Vindicate. But it's not necessarily more than a Vindicate. All right, here we go. The sword's in, hit Saga, and make a big fella in response. Okay, did not have a land drop to follow that up. That's good news. Ooh, Pinnacle Emissary. I do want to cast that, but I also want... Oh, right. Haste. Right. All right, I'm going to fetch Volcanic Island, which I didn't need to do yet. I'm going to warp in Pinnacle Emissary, equip it with Lava Spur Boots, attack with both of these creatures for more damage, and then move the boots over to give ward to my construct. And then next turn, Sink into Stupor can be the extra land to play Pinnacle Emissary for full cost and equip it, unless I find another mana somewhere. Okay, pretty good damage output there. There's the Brainstorm. We know their hand is all spells because they missed a land drop last turn. Let's hope this Ward 1 is good against the mana-screwed opponent. No! Alright. I'm going to gain 6 life and tap them out again. Take 1 in combat from Stoneforge. Lotus Petal's a huge rip. Am I going to play around Daze in this matchup? Alright, I will play... Alright, I'm not playing around Daze. Please don't daze me. By holding all these back... No! Alright, well, I deserve that. So the thing is, if they have Force of Will there, I can save 3 life by not playing the Sink, and I get to keep Sink in my hand against this deck that likely has a permanent they'd like to resolve at some point. If I play the Lotus Petal after the thing resolves, I get a drone out of it, and Daze was specifically the punish against all of that. Yeah, like something like Murktide Region, for example, is where I'd want to put a Sink into Stupor. Never punished. All right. Am I playing around Daze twice? I could warp it this time. No, that's not good enough, as I would need an extra mana to bounce the Murktide at that point. I can block Murktide with the drones. The difference now is I know Daze is in their deck. Okay, I'm not playing around Daze. I still think it goes best for me if these cards are in my hand when Pinnacle Emissary resolves, or if I don't have Emissary. Okay, here's the thing I said last turn, where now Sink into Stupor is very important for me to have versus his Murktide, which can also be equipped with Meteor Sword and attack for 10. Of course, pitching Quantum Riddler feels like a good exchange. Stoneforge, Mystic. The damage is piling up here. B-Skull. Okay. And they can zoot it in immediately with the other Stoneforge if they want to, or they could Wasteland me. Alright, well, they must be planning to waste me then, if they're attacking with the other Stoneforge. I didn't get wasted. That's nice. All right, I'm just going to pass the turn. I can Sink the Murktide on their turn. Yeah, I wonder if they just didn't realize that the first Stoneforge can cash out the second one, because that they just didn't use their mana for that cycle. But it would have been Really good to have Batterskull in play. And I'll bounce Murktide and take one. I am now also facing down Batterskull. Like, Emery is one of my best draws. It's certainly not Seed of the Synod. Okay, so Batterskull's for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not dead yet. And I can kill from infinite life. So life link isn't what's important here. Equipping the sword. Here come the massive beats. Get a clue. And I am now dead on board. This turn's got to be something good. That's not it. Okay. GG. Yeah, that one was tight. It took a clutch. It was Plow, Plow, Daze Force, all found high-value targets, and with Stoneforge Mystic threatening in between. That is how it works. Okay, Wear Tear looks pretty good. Prismatic Ending looks pretty good. We saw Quantum Riddler and Meteor Sword. Gotta assume Thelia's in this deck. I think I am going to cut Soul Guide Lantern, even though we've seen Tameo and Murktide. That's not how I want to interact with those things. Do I want to play like a combo deck, I guess is the question. And what I mean by that is keep all my forces in, focus on the combo with light disruption to keep myself alive. Like, I could just not have any of this stuff and bring in Pyroblast, keep all the forces, keep the Metallic Rebukes, focus on being a disruptive combo deck. Or I could do like Pithing Needle, Haywire Might, Caracas, Wear Tear, Dismember, and become kind of Pinnacle Emissary control. And I think both have merit, but my opponent hasn't seen Jeskai Ascendancy yet. I think I'm going to keep it light here and just bring in the 2 Pyroblasts and try to be Jeskai Ascendancy control. Though Pithing Needle does so much work versus a Stoneforge Mystic deck, I might just want that in here as well. Where does that go? Can I cut a land? Cut a Volcanic Island? I still have 19 lands plus 4 Mox Opals and 2 Lotus Petals. But we did see Wasteland. And when blue-white decks have Wasteland, it's just such a powerful tool. It might be Glimmer Void, actually, that gets cut if I'm shaving a land, because they're going to have Wrath of the Skies. Okay, I'll try this. Okay, this is 2 lands. It's a turn 2 Emery with Force backup. All right, I'll keep this. I think I just want to rip off this Pithing Needle on Stoneforge Mystic, just early and often. That's what it's here for. Stoneforge Mystic. And I will play out the Bauble, but I'm not going to use it. Blue to Delta. I don't know why my Volcanic Island is grayed out on the screen. Soporific Springs. I am going to play around Daze now that I know it's a thing. Emery. Mill, baby, mill. And now I will Bauble you, because I've gotten my affinity payoff. Jeskai Ascendancy revealed. Meteor Sword in the grip. That's probably good news for this Pithing Needle on Stoneforge Mystic. I believe this is my fight. Emery is an engine. Mox Amber. I didn't play out Aether Spellbomb because of Daze. Brainstorm. This Meteor Sword's not going to be in the hand anymore. I think it's a safe bet. It would be sweet to cast Pinnacle Emissary from my graveyard this turn. That's just like a real body in a mid-range matchup. I hope this is just Ponder or Tameo. Okay, yeah, Ponder, great. And my graveyard Pinnacle Emissary getting dazed isn't as bad because that's not a card. Okay. I'm going to play Mox Amber first to make sure I can float mana at the times where I need to. All right, here we go. Pinnacle Emissary is on the stack, and it's in play. They're pretty far away from a Wrath of the Skies that is bad for me. This Pyroblast can check Tameo. Brainstorm, ripping it off immediately. I'm going to click away this Meteor Sword. There's no way that thing's still around. Plussing Tameo. A Scalding Tarn. I'm going to play the Bauble from the graveyard. I'm going to generate some drones while I have reasonable confidence it's going to work. Aether Spellbomb. Drones. Attack Tameo for 2. And then Bauble their hand. Consign to memory. Okay. That has uses against my deck. I will confess. And do I want to fetch now? I don't think so. It's just one fewer land I could draw in my deck, but it might actually matter whether I get white or red off of the Scalding Tarn, knowing that I'm against a Wasteland deck. Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to bounce my Pinnacle Emissary in response. It's better that it's in my hand, and Emery can loop the Spellbomb. Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. This gets to tutor and shuffle. It does not get to activate. At least not until they Prismatic Ending my Pithing Needle. Assimilation Aegis. Exile up to one target creature. And the equipped creature is a copy of this creature. Okay. I am going to fetch now because I have Glimmer Void, and I will have the mana I need to do what I want. Especially if I just rip Tundra like a boss. Okay. Pinnacle Emissary on the stack. I should have done this in the other direction. Yeah, I should have targeted with Emery first, because now there is actually a priority window to plow this thing where there didn't need to be. That was a mistake. Okay. Unpunished, but that was not good. I do think drawing a card is more important than either Spellbomb right now. Spellbomb you, or Bobble you. Saw the Aegis. Saw the Aegis again. I don't think they have two of those. Okay. I think I just want to clear Tamiyo. She's threatening to buy back a Plow or Brainstorm, which is scary enough to me that I just don't want to deal with it. Okay, flooding out a little bit here. The Assimilation Aegis can take out the Emissary or the Emery, and my opponent's handful of gas starting to overcome my strong stompy start. If I resolve Jeskai Ascendancy ever, I win on the spot. Okay, Aegis took Emissary. I would rather have Emery in play, so I'll take that. There's a Saga. I like it. Bobble. I just want to keep drawing cards. Bobble you. Murktide Regent. Yuck. That's pretty big. And it's going to come down way before this Urza Saga can get Soul Guide Lantern, which I think I also boarded out. Okay, big rips. Pinnacle Emissary. That keeps Murktide in check. Because if Pinnacle Emissary is in play and I can tap Emery every turn, that is a 1/1 to block Murktide every time. Quantum Riddler. We know they can consign to keep that if they want to do that. Wasteland my Saga. Timely and strong. Okay, deciding to develop Murktide rather than keep Quantum Riddler. I think that's reasonable. This Consign to Memory also has text in the matchup otherwise, though there is an Aether Spellbomb in my graveyard. So did we forget about that, or do we have it answered? Force of Negation would bum me out quite a bit. All right, Emissary, get in there. Target Aether Spellbomb. Do I play around the Double Daze? No, I'd love to get Double Dazed. Please Double Daze me. Pick up 2 lands in this spot when I have 3 chump blockers anyway. Deal. Okay. I think I have exactly 1 fetchable land left in my deck. Or did I board one out? Or was that Glimmer Void? I boarded out Glimmer Void. Good job, me. I fetch. It's gonna bounce this Murktide and keep the damage flowing. I'm not gonna play the second Emery. I don't think milling myself for 4 meaningfully improves my life right now. But if my Emery dies, then having a second one to replace that one matters a lot. Tamiyo's here. Riddler from hand. Still not in the riddle zone. It's just a draw 1. That is 2 cards drawn for Tamiyo. If they can find a Ponder, they're in business. It's 2 Riddlers in warp now. Fetching down to 10. Are we going to see the Consign to keep the Riddler? But my Aether Spellbomb loop is good against that too. Okay, turning Stoneforge Mystic into Pinnacle Emissary. Might as well make a 3/3 since we're out here doing cheeky combat stuff. Oh, baby. Hook me up for more of this. Another Emissary. Now we're going completely bonkers. I'm gonna get my Aether Spellbomb back again. They are approaching a place where Wrath of the Skies for 3 is viable. I'll trade with Stoneforge. I don't care. I'll just cast that again next turn from my graveyard. And the thing that kills me from this position is a Wrath anyway, so might as well trade my creature off to push damage while I can. But if they Wrath of the Skies for 3, Assimilation Aegis dies, and then Pinnacle Emissary is the last permanent in play, they're actually not even in good shape to do that. Okay, here's Rizzler from Warp. Draws 1 extra card. Opponent is at 7 life. I believe they are dead. Unless they have something like Solitude, which seems, I guess, possible, though unlikely. Solitude in a Felia deck is not the most outrageous thing I've ever heard of, but just the way their deck is constructed, I'm not really believing that they have it. Okay. That was combo mode because they hadn't seen Ascendancy. I did mill over an Ascendancy, and they said in chat, oh cool, a combo version. Does that mean... Also, I'm on the draw now, which makes things worse. But what does this look like? If I cut all the Ascendancies, then I cut Fate Citra as well. I could leave in 1 or 2 Ascendancies, and then Dismember, Prismatic Ending. Haywire Might's not a 0, but it's not great either. And knowing they have the whole Riddler thing going on, and I haven't seen Ophelia yet, but she's got to be in there. I guess I want Caracas if I've seen Tameo and I suspect Felia. This Caracas also replaces the Glimmer Void and I'm back up to my full land count. And I guess I would get Soul Guide Lantern back because Murktide is in there. Is that how I want to do that? Wear Tear. I haven't seen enchantments. And I have a bunch of other answers to their equipment. If I just play with 0 Force of Wills, play to the board, pivot into Pinnacle Emissary, control. But I do still have 2 Ascendancies in here. Okay, yeah, I think I found a middle ground here. Okay, well, this hand is good. It is in some danger to a Wrath of the Skies. But this is the best Pinnacle Emissary start that I've had in the league so far. Oh my god. All right, let's see if this works. Unfortunately, we know Daze is in the deck. I have other artifacts I can play out. Okay. I will not pay 1 to prevent this, and I'm going to play out... I'm actually just going to dump it all and deploy Tameo. That was a good Daze, but I have the Omega Punish. And Daze means I'm not going to get Wrath of the Sky for 0. Now I have the choice of cycling off these baubles to flip Tameo, or just going to my turn and developing clues. I like clues, those are artifacts. All right, Tameo was plowed, but I can live with that because I have another one. And I'm going to pass the turn. I probably should draw some cards this time. The Tameo clue plus the Seed of the Synod now give me Metalcraft if I cycle off both baubles, but if I cycle both baubles, Tameo is not in a clue-giving frame of mind. No, that's the card in my hand! What the fuck? Oh my god. In 48 alternative universes, I'm up a card here, but now it's card neutral because Pinnacle Emissary happens to be the card in my hand. I hate when that shit happens. Oy, oy, oy. Okay, well, I better combo out then. And I guess now I'm going for it. Bauble your hand. Bauble your deck. All right, fetch lands all around. Bauble triggers. Emery, yes. Lotus Petal, yes. Flip Tameo, yes. Okay. Pretty good recovery from that terrible sequence that just occurred. A Lotus Petal turns on Opal. That lets me play Emery, and I can still sink into Stupor if I need to. Magic is fun when you're just floating the ability to draw 2 cards and play at will. Okay, that was a pretty bad Emery, but I already had some baubles in there. It's okay. Polluted Delta, we saw her shuffle one of those away. Stoneforge Mystic. I think I would kind of prefer if that just wasn't in play. Because it's card advantage anyway. Like, bouncing it from play might be tempo, but they are up a card. Anytime an opponent plays Stoneforge Mystic, that's the appeal of that card. It's just card advantage as soon as it resolves, whether it does anything or not after that point. Mox Amber. Okay. I'm going to target Urza's Bauble. Just out here trying to draw cards and rip my way into something useful. I saw the Stoneforge Mystic I already knew about. Mox Amber is +2 mana, turns on the Opal, and it is on because of Emery. Tempoing through the Stoneforge Mystic, because right now, opponent is on pace to tutor Meteor Sword. Tamiyo goes up to 8, then Meteor Sword and 8 Tamiyo. 8 loyalty Tamiyo, which is not where I want to be. I want to be on the opposite side of that tempo, which means Pithing Needle or Sink into Stupor or either Spell Bomb are all cards I'm interested in here. Emery's cooked. Okay, this might be it. Moment of truth. Emery being cooked also means that Jeskai Ascendancy top deck doesn't win the game anymore. Repeal. You don't say. Oh, I have. This is on anyway, and it makes green. I forgot about Tamiyo counting for Mox Amber. Fun. Okay. Repeal the Stoneforge Mystic. Are we there? Do you have backup? Please don't have backup. Oh, no backup. All right. I'll just put you back in check. I'm going to Mishra's Bauble myself and use my fetch land this time. I don't really want to see another Mishra's Bauble right there. I guess Pyroblast is the most exciting card I can draw. It covers some bases, even if it doesn't cover them all. Okay, Glimmer Void's not it. Did we do it? Did we tempo through the Stoneforge, bounce it 2 turns in a row, and get Tamiyo to where she needs to be? Murktide Regent, okay. Stoneforge is back, okay. All right, without the emissaries in my deck, like normally I would draw half my deck, make a wall of blockers with emissary, be worried about nothing. But now I actually do need to win with half my deck intact. Getting an Emery immediately is huge because I need Emery, I need Ascendancy, and I need to give Emery haste to do everything I want to do right now. Okay. I do have Boots. I do have Ascendancy. Okay, let's try to do it here. Emery. Start there. Fate Stitcher in the bin. Lobster Boots. I can play around Daze. Okay, I'm gonna float a blue and then play the other opal. I'm trying to play around Daze and Force of Will. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Blue. I guess blue is used to equip the boots then. I probably should have floated red off of that. Okay, it's fine. We'll figure it out. White, red, Ascendancy. Oh, that just resolved. No arguments. Boots. And now I win. It's going to take some clicking, but this is enough. I always yield. I actually don't want to loot because I have everything I need. Opponent said she's just waiting for the win con. I will show you one in short order. Okay, I am going to unearth Fate Stitcher, which is a win con. Tap Murktide. And we got the GGs. The Fate Stitcher tech coming in. I mean, I think I was going to win that game anyway with Pyroblast and Prismatic Ending. It's hard not to win a game where you have infinite mana and your deck available to you, but the Fate Stitcher did make it clean. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/TheResleevables. I'm on the play in round 4 with a turn 1 Tamiyo that I can flip on my second upkeep and protect it with Force of Will. I think we do these. Tamiyo, Bauble, Bauble, and I'm going to pass because I want the Tamiyo to flip on my next turn. I can start bobbling now. Or is it Saga? Okay. What flavor of that are you? In Urza Saga Blue to Delta deck, it's the mirror match. Tundra Ponder. Okay, so my Tamiyo is going to flip here. Unless they have Solitudes, which would be weird for an Urza Saga deck. Swords to Plowshares on top. Too late for that shit. Okay, draw, flip Tamiyo. Fresh Tamiyo. No lands, though. It's a little dicey. Okay, plus this Tamiyo. And I guess this second Tamiyo does keep pressure up. And if I make a clue, that turns on Mox Opal next turn. Yeah, that didn't go ideally. I don't think I need to attack their graveyard. But yeah, I'm going to go replacement Tamiyo. I'm going to sandbag the Opal. I don't need them to knowing I'm that kind of deck. Okay, the Plow caught the second Tamiyo, which is not the one I was worried about. I wonder if this is a Dreadnought deck. Blue-white mana with Urza Saga is kind of how it's reading to me. All right, I'll play out this Soul Guide Lantern. That gets me on the way to Metallic Rebuke. Still gonna sandbag the Opal. I've got Force of Will this turn. Next turn I'll have Force and Rebuke. If they just play some shit like Stock Up right now, that's fine. Narcomoeba. Okay. Oh, we're playing against Breakfast. Okay. Yeah, sure. And the main deck Soul Guide Lantern that I just played out for Metalcraft looking even funnier. Okay. Deal. I think we're in good shape. Plus the Tamiyo. And I drew Amber. Oh, we've got even more mana now that I remember that counts Planeswalkers. Thing that I was totally on top of the whole time. Here I can Rebuke and pay for days if I just don't play out the Lava Spur Boots. I think I'm going to have to be okay with that. A Tamiyo could take 1 damage here. 7 still draws half my deck. A Tamiyo goes to 7 loyalty. What a ridiculous card. Just even the fact that even if your opponent gets a chip shot through her plus ability somehow, in some way, it still isn't good enough. All right, draw half my deck. I've drawn 24 cards. How do I win right now? Okay, the boots were already in my hand. There's an Emery there. I already have Opal and Amber in play. Okay, I'll lean on Emery. I will reveal what I'm actually about here. Okay, blue. I do have a second Opal in hand and another Amber. Yeah, I don't actually need to play Seed of the Synod. That's fine. Okay. I'll play Glimmer Void, float a red, replacement Opal, blue, white. Oh, wait, I need the boots first. I'm skipping steps. Oh, shit. Wait, what just happened? Hold on. Oh, no. Okay, wow, all right. There was a moment where I was backing up. I was Control-Zing backwards. And there was a moment where I had both Opals in play, but I wasn't being prompted to sack one. But then I had to Control-Z again, and it asked me to sack one. Whoops. All right. It's fine. We got this. Lava Spur Boots. Equip. I got a grip full of forces here. Force, pitching, Tamiyo. Okay. I am equipped. Fresh Amber. Red. Fresh Opal. Red, blue, white, Jeskai Ascendancy. Okay. Opal from the graveyard. Let's get it moving. I would like to draw and discard Face Stitcher. There we go. Combo intact. Keep this Opal. Unearth Stitcher. Who's the graveyard combo deck now? Untap Amber. Float blue. Cast Opal from the bin. I don't need to loot anymore. I've already won. It's just about clicking through it. I'll use my blue mana to warp Emissary. Now we're gaming for real. Triggers, triggers, triggers. I got plenty of time to play with my food here. I'm going to tap Urza Saga. If you want to do something, you better do it now. Okay, I tapped all 3 of their lands instead of just 1. I'll take it. And then I'm not going to untap Urza Saga. Bauble from the graveyard. Tap the construct. Okay, they've had enough. Sweet. Out comboed the other graveyard combo deck. Okay, versus Cephalid Breakfast, Pyroblast. I like Wear Tear just because Urza Saga is such a weapon, and obviously Shuko exists, but mostly for Urza Saga. Prismatic Ending, Dismember. I think I do want to be Pinnacle Emissary Control in this matchup more than I want to be Ascendancy combo. I'll leave one in for the gas. You don't really need Force of Will if you have all this sort of stuff going on. I think I can shave an Opal and an Amber pretty safely. You know what? Sorry, Jeskai Ascendancy. I think showing the range of the deck is important. It's not like the Ascendancy sucks and I'm just playing a bad deck with 3 unplayable cards in it in game 1, then I board them out every round. Like, we literally just won because we had Jeskai Ascendancy. But I think in this matchup, taking the control posture is right. Pithing Needle, Haywire Might. I could see all of these being reasonable cards to bring in. I guess I can play with fewer Lotus Petals. I mean, my Pinnacle Emissaries are getting pretty weak here. 0 Force of Will. Let's party. Okay. 0 Force of Will on the draw versus a deck that can send it obviously comes with some risks, but if they are trying to go mid-range, or if their hand is even just medium, that is how I want to play. I'm definitely keeping this awesome double emissary hand. Opponent also kept 7. Okay, that is not Shuko or Nomad's Encore, which means I'm not going to lose on turn 2, unless they have Lotus Petals, which sometimes they do, frequently they don't. Okay, warp out this emissary. Opal, which turns on immediately. There are 3 artifacts in play. And I think I would rather develop Tamiyo here than warp a second emissary, get a second drone, and then pass the turn. That second emissary will be useful in the future. Like, I could warp it out to turn Mox Opal back on if Tamiyo gets answered before she makes a clue. Voice of Victory. All right. I will be dissing that thing's member. It's hardly a member at all. Look how small it is. I can attack first, and then I'm just going to dismember and spend maximum life on that, because cracking a clue could matter. Representing all this mana certainly matters, even if I don't actually have anything to do with it. A Bee Storm. Hit their land. Another voice. I'll draw a card in response, pretending I have counterspells in my deck. Okay, you got your voice. Emery. Attack. I don't feel confident in this game at this moment. Sink into Stupor, bounce the voice. Emery. Emery hit a bauble. 2 baubles. No removal spells. Urza's Saga. I've never seen one of those. How does it work? Voice of Victory's back again. You're setting up the goods. Soul Guide Lantern can beat Voice of Victory, or at least keep them from comboing off. But I don't have that card. I do now have this card. A Prismatic Ending. The voice. Better than nothing. Okay, do I want to warp Emissary or have mana up on my opponent's turn? I think I'd rather have mana up on my opponent's turn. Urza's Bauble. I want to know their hand. Bauble you. Prismatic Ending in the hand. Okay, if they have a reactive hand like this, I guess I do want to push the Tamiyo then. Flush stuff out of their hand, distract them from removing Emery, which is the card I actually care about. Consigned to Memory, that's a good one. I don't think I'm going to fight the Urza's Saga because I'm more scared of the combo, even though the Saga constructs are not a 0. My opponent could exile Mox Opal, change phases, and then combo me out. I guess I could have tapped in a way that plays around that. Oh, Bromads. Saga number 2. Saga Gaming, fully operational. I think I want Pinnacle Emissary in the mix here. Right, Emissary, and then I'll Urza's Bauble, see the last card in their hand. Bauble you. A Tundra is what you're working with. Okay, attack for 1 flying. And now I can decide if I want to be more aggressive with this Consigned to Memory, knowing that I'm just fading draw steps rather than anything else that's going on. Though, of course, if they do just draw Cephalid Illusionist, I lose. Okay, if they're tapping mana for this, I don't think they drew Cephalid Illusionist. I'm going to let them tutor. Ghost Vacuum, that's cool. And then I'm going to Consign to Memory the ability to make more constructs. Let's park this bus in its current location. Tundra, second Nomad, sure, deal, sold. Okay, there's no good attack here. Okay, I'll trade for that. Deal, 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 deal. Okay. They don't know I have more of that. Ghost Vacuum does check Emery, or it did until I drew Repeal. Okay, do I want to repeal Ghost Vacuum and get an extra turn doing Emery stuff? Or do I want to repeal this construct and be worried about basically nothing and just chip shot my opponent with the drones? I mean, the construct loses to Emissary anyway. The vacuum gets me one turn of doing stuff. I don't think I like that. Yeah, I'm just going to cast Pinnacle Emissary from my hand. And this leaves up repeal on the construct and dismember for generic whatever. And I am winning the damage race. And I still have a clue I can crack. Okay, pass. Opponents in top deck mode, though they do actually just win if they draw Illusionist, because I can't kill both Nomads, and they're probably going to tutor a Shuko here. Yeah, I'm just trying to fade a 4-outer for the most part. Pithing Needle resolves. Just name Emery that is already beat. What I'm hoping for here is that they attack with Construct thinking it's going to be a certain size, but then I can change the size of it with Repeal, and then I can just block it. Okay, they named Emery. Officially a 1-2. Yield 1 mana 1-2. Incredible combat stats on that one. I can make this thing 3-3. I guess just repealing the construct is the play. Deleted. Oh, and I drew a consign. Sweet. Okay. Now, I'm not worried about much. They didn't equip the Shuko. That's nice. Little bonus. Mox Amber gets me a drone. And I can draw with my clue here, see if anything else comes up. Scalding Tarn, not exactly thrilling. Just going to attack with all my creatures. All right, pass. I think I'm winning this game. It would take some weird sequence of stuff like Teferi, minus Teferi, hit Cephalid Illusionist kind of thing. And even that's a 2-turn line. And I have a lot of pressure on Teferi. They'd have to get an additional mana somewhere. Or I guess I could lose to Cabal Therapy, naming Consign. Voice of Victory. Yeah, I mean, that one I can kill on my turn and then pass back to my opponent, and I still have Consign up. If they had waited on that and then gone Voice of Victory, Cephalid Illusionist, both at the same time, that's better. But this is a better damage output object than Jump Blocker. Now the Nomads can kill Emery. Like if I attack with Emery, they could double block, move all of the damage over to Voice of Victory, and then nothing happens. Nothing good anyway. Nothing for me. I am going to fetch my Tundra because I don't want to draw it. Oh, that guy. Okay. How worried am I about my life total? Well, I have to cast this. So red, blue, colorless, another Emissary. In the mix, another 3-3, more importantly. And I guess I can tap out here because they're hellbent. Dismember Voice of Victory. A kicking Consign to Memory. I guess, no, this isn't Oops All Spells. Like, all those things won't be happening at the same time. I was trying to think of why I would need to kick Consign to Memory. Because they're in top deck mode. They can't have backup for their Cephalid Illusionist. And this is lethal, so they have to lose a Nomad. Okay. This is it. Last turn of the game, one way or another. I can still lose to a Cabal Therapy sequence if they top deck Illusionist, but they didn't. Okay, sweet. Nice. Both angles of the deck involved there, comboed them out game 1, became Pinnacle Emissary control in game 2. And just like that, we are 3-1. Remember when I said getting 2 wins shouldn't be too hard? We are playing for the bread and butter. Let's go. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the draw in the final round, playing for the bread and butter 4-1. I'm going to keep this hand. This is a Pinnacle Emissary dump out that has Rebuke up once I have my Opal and all my drones. I was just going to make the joke that we're due for our annual Oops All Spells queue up. Every league gets one. Disappointing. Well, they won't know what I'm on for game 2. And I think easily win this game on game. I mean, I can't just declare I would have won the game on game one. I would have passed with interaction up if I was on the dot, if I won the die roll. All right, let's look at their build and then concede the game. Okay, we've got Bridge from Below. That's not in every build. Cabal Therapy. How many? No Poxwalkers. 3 Narcomoebas, at least in the deck. There might be one in the hand. Main deck Extirpate. What's going on with that? I don't get it, but okay. 2 Dread Returns. Pact of Negation. Reanimate. All right. Yeah, there's some stuff. I will concede the game. Fun. Okay. I am not appropriately stacked up for this matchup. These Urza Saga decks, they get to play stuff like Soul Guide Lantern in the main, which means my sideboard is normally for counter hate. Like my sideboard is much more how do I beat Force of Will, how do I beat Null Rod, that kind of stuff, than it is how do I stop my opponent from killing me on turn 1. But I am a deck with Soul Guide Lantern. I am a deck with Force of Will, and I'm boarding in another one. I don't think I want Pyroblast to help against their Pact of Negations. If they packed me, they got me, whatever. Jeskai Ascendancy is blue. That's pretty important. Mox Amber can help me go fast, but I still think I can trim it. I think I'm just not comboing this opponent, and as boring as that is, this is the game that my opponent has forced me to play, which is the goal of a deck like Oops or any other fast combo deck is if your opponent has spells that cost 1, 2, and 3 mana in them, but they don't get a turn, then it doesn't matter. I think I can cut a land in this matchup if I want to, if I need the space. Do I think cutting Glimmer Void is better than cutting Jeskai Ascendancy? That goes +1 blue card, +1 combo out. Like I do have to turn the corner and win, even if I survive the early turn. I think that is a mess. Okay, here we go. Now I know the matchup, and I can make different mulligan decisions. Okay, a turn 1 Emery with Force backup, I will keep. I never really trust one piece of interaction to beat Oops all spells, but I'm not going to mulligan a hand that does all this. This is basically my dream hand. Opponent did keep 7 though, so we're probably dead. I milled over Lava Spur Boots. That's not the banger we're looking for. Agadeem. Some Spirit Guides being pitched. Ball Ritual resolves. Another Spirit Guide. Force of Will. Packed me. You got 3 cards in your hand. They're probably all packs. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, there we go. A satisfying 1.5 turns of Magic over a full match. My format knowledge did not pass this check. Just going to look at their graveyard and see if they boarded out their Thassa's Oracle. They did not. And there is a Dread Return. Okay. You got me. GG's. A positive record with Jeskai Ascendancy in Legacy. As far as the deck construction goes, I think won about as many games with Ascendancy as we did with the Pinnacle Emissary Affinity stuff. Emery being the anchor between both is pretty great. I was actually not that impressed with Tamiyo here. I modeled my build of Ascendancy off of Modern a little bit, because Modern is a format where Jeskai Ascendancy recently had a little surge of popularity, I would say, with Corey Steelcutter and the printing of Tarkir Dragonstorm earlier this year. There was a moment where Jeskai Ascendancy was a thing again in Modern. And Tamiyo, Modern decks need Tamiyo to turn on Mox Amber. But Legacy decks have Lotus Petal and the full spread of 8 baubles if they want them. I think if you were to go into the lab a bit, you might find that you don't need Tamiyo like that, especially if we're trying to do Pinnacle Emissary stuff. Like, what if these 4 Tamiyos were just the other 2 Urza's Baubles and the other 2 Lotus Petals? That makes Force of Will quite a bit worse, but it does make Pinnacle Emissary much faster, or do a lot more on the turns where it's kind of mopey. But then, is that even the vision for the deck? Like, if we want to be in this kind of mid-range grind where it's like you must respect Tamiyo, Emery, Urza Saga, Pinnacle Emissary, and the threat of Jeskai Ascendancy out of nowhere, like, you have to respect all of these engines. That is just a viable way to build it, which is what we did here. But I think you could commit more or less to this. Like, you could play fewer emissaries, even 0, and just focus on the Jeskai Ascendancy stuff. And then maybe that build has more Fate Stitchers or some way to make sure it works. I don't know. Are we playing Defense Grid in that deck? Are we main decking Pyroblast? I don't know what that looks like, but I'm just throwing some ideas out there of how we could shift on this spectrum from affinity to combo. And I built it right in the middle. But you might have a different hopes and dreams and want to do it differently. And that's okay. I do like that both Pinnacle Emissary and Tamiyo are blue for Force of Will, where having Force of Will in your Stompy combo deck is just really good. I feel like I want to say more about how you could build this deck, but I also feel like I'd start repeating myself, and I feel like my point is made. So I'm just going to put a pin in it there. Justin, thank you for sending this into the channel. Positive record, 3 wins with 3 copies of Ascendancy in there. I believe that checks the bounty. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.